You were not only misinformed about attraction, you were conditioned to misunderstand it in a way that quietly undermined you from the beginning. You were taught that if you were kind enough, patient enough, emotionally open enough, love would naturally reward you. You were told that the more you gave, the more you would receive. And for a long time, you believed that surrendering your strength was proof of your heart. But what you were never told is that attraction does not respond to sacrifice the way morality does. It responds to emotional gravity. It responds to internal stability. It responds to a man who is whole before he ever enters the room. The uncomfortable truth is not that kindness is worthless. It is that kindness without self-respect collapses into neediness, and neediness destabilizes desire at the nervous system level. When a man seeks validation through constant availability, when he anxiously monitors her responses, when he rearranges his life to maintain her approval, he communicates dependence. Dependence activates pressure. Pressure suffocates attraction because attraction requires space, autonomy, and choice. Women often say they value vulnerability and honesty, and they do. But vulnerability without grounding feels like emotional outsourcing. If you open yourself too soon, before trust is built, before polarity is established, it does not signal strength. It signals uncertainty. Uncertainty in a man creates a subtle shift in her perception. She begins to feel that she is managing your emotional state rather than being drawn toward your stability. This is not cruelty, it is instinct. Human attraction is rooted in emotional safety combined with tension. Emotional safety comes from steadiness. Tension comes from unpredictability and challenge. When you are constantly available, constantly reassuring, constantly seeking confirmation that she still chooses you, you eliminate both tension and mystery. You collapse the polarity, and when polarity collapses, desire weakens. Many men misinterpret this and attempt to compensate with increased effort. They text more. They compliment more. They offer more access to themselves. But effort without internal value feels like persuasion. You cannot negotiate desire into existence. Desire is a response to perceived strength, direction, and self-sufficiency. It is not a reward for compliance. Think carefully about what actually destabilizes attraction. It is not kindness. It is overinvestment without reciprocity. It is abandoning your routines, your goals, your friendships, your discipline the moment she enters your life. When you make her your primary source of meaning, you create imbalance. She does not want to be your entire world. She wants to be part of a world that already exists. A man with direction carries momentum. Momentum signals purpose. Purpose reduces fixation. When you have something meaningful to build, her presence enhances your life but does not define it. That distinction is critical. The man who is grounded in his mission does not chase because he is already moving forward. He does not beg for validation because his identity is reinforced by action. He does not fear losing her because his life does not collapse in her absence. That internal abundance changes how he interacts. He becomes selective rather than desperate. He observes rather than pursues blindly. He chooses rather than pleads. Women are highly perceptive to this difference. They can sense when a man is trying to appear independent while internally anxious. Congruence matters. If your behavior suggests detachment but your energy leaks neediness, the contradiction is felt immediately. That is why this cannot be performed. It must be cultivated. Cultivation begins with discipline. Build competence. Build your body. Build your career. Build your skill set. Build relationships with other men who challenge you. Build a schedule that does not revolve around her moods. Each disciplined action strengthens your self-concept. A strong self-concept reduces emotional volatility. Reduced volatility creates calm. Calm in a man feels powerful because it signals regulation. Regulation feels safe. Safety combined with autonomy generates attraction. Respect operates under similar principles. Respect cannot be demanded. It is observed and then granted. If you tolerate subtle disrespect, if you laugh off comments that diminish you, if you apologize for boundaries you should enforce, you teach others that your standards are negotiable. Negotiable standards weaken perception of strength. Strength is not dominance. It is consistency. It is the quiet willingness to walk away from what violates your values without dramatic confrontation. When a woman tests, and testing is often unconscious, she is not attempting to harm you. She is assessing stability. She is observing whether your identity is firm or flexible under pressure. If you collapse into defensiveness or over-accommodation, something shifts. If you remain composed, articulate your position calmly, and do not chase reconciliation through excessive reassurance, respect grows. Respect and attraction are intertwined because both are rooted in perceived capability. Capability includes emotional control, boundary enforcement, and direction. A man without boundaries appears directionless. A man who enforces boundaries without hostility appears grounded. The paradox many men struggle with is this: you must be willing to lose her to truly keep her. That does not mean detachment as manipulation. It means non-attachment as strength. If your fear of losing her overrides your commitment to yourself, she senses it. Fear-driven behavior creates subtle instability. Stability is attractive because it signals that you are not governed by impulse or insecurity. The more you internalize this, the less you will attempt to prove your worth. Proving is exhausting and transparent. Embodying is quiet and undeniable. When you embody self-respect, your posture shifts. Your voice steadies. Your responses become measured rather than reactive. You are no longer attempting to secure approval. You are evaluating compatibility. That evaluation mindset alters the dynamic. You are not hoping to be chosen. You are deciding whether she aligns with your standards. This repositioning restores polarity. Polarity does not require aggression. It requires difference. When you maintain your direction, when you protect your time, when you invest in growth regardless of her attention, you create distance that allows desire to breathe. Attraction thrives in space, not in suffocation. Consider how often men destroy this space by overexposing themselves. Immediate replies, constant updates, emotional transparency without depth established. These behaviors feel generous, but they often stem from anxiety. Anxiety is contagious. When she feels that your emotional equilibrium depends on her responses, pressure builds. Pressure erodes desire. The solution is not indifference. It is internal fulfillment. Fulfillment reduces urgency. Urgency fades into presence. Presence without agenda is magnetic because it communicates that you are choosing the interaction rather than seeking rescue from loneliness. When you reach this state, you no longer strategize about when to text. You no longer monitor response times. You engage naturally without fear. Fearlessness in this context does not mean recklessness. It means emotional self-sufficiency. You are not fragile. You are not easily destabilized. You are not reshaping yourself to maintain connection. This solidity is what changes everything. It changes how she speaks to you. It changes how she invests. It changes how she perceives your absence. But even more importantly, it changes how you perceive yourself. You begin to value your time differently. You begin to filter interactions based on alignment rather than attraction alone. You recognize that desire without respect is unstable. You understand that approval is temporary, but integrity is permanent. When you operate from integrity, you become selective. Selectivity signals abundance. Abundance reduces neediness. Reduced neediness enhances attraction. The truth you were not told is not that you must become cold. It is that you must become whole. Wholeness means your identity is not contingent on romantic validation. It means you are comfortable alone. It means your purpose is not paused when she is distant. It means your standards do not soften when challenged. From this position, kindness becomes powerful because it is chosen, not traded for approval. Vulnerability becomes attractive because it is grounded in strength, not desperation. Availability becomes meaningful because it is intentional, not constant. Everything shifts when your internal state shifts. And when that internal shift is authentic, not performed, women respond differently. Some will rise to meet your standards, others will leave. Both outcomes serve you because they reveal alignment. The final truth is simple and difficult. Attraction follows self-respect. Respect follows consistency. Consistency follows discipline. Discipline begins with the decision to stop outsourcing your worth. When you reclaim that worth internally, you no longer chase. You no longer plead. You no longer shrink to be accepted. You stand, you build, you choose. And from that stance, everything else aligns naturally.